So today I want to tell you the secret to having a successful career fair, and I've got several points here I want to walk through. First of all, apparel. What should you be wearing to the career fair?
Professional.
Professional. What's professional mean?
Suit and tie.
Suit and tie. So, finance. What should the shoes look like? You guys know that there's a difference between, so in finance, for some reason, lace-up shoes, you won't see tasseled loafers. I don't know why. It's just one of those things that you watch and you see. That's what I would wear if I were you. Now, if tasseled loafers are the only things that you have, as long as they're shiny and clean, it's still cool. Your top button on your shirt, buttoned or unbuttoned? Buttoned. Your tie, and I checked mine before I came in here to make sure it was up high enough. If you have your top button unbuttoned and your tie loose, you don't look casual, you look like an alcoholic. So don't do that. I had a guy tell me in a teaching evaluation, he's like, well, I work for a Fortune 500 company and I never have to wear a tie. I'm like, well, good for you. But for those of us that are in finance and are working in that area, you need to wear your tie. Let's see. Oh, shirts. Shirts should not be wrinkled. And in fact, how do you get a shirt to not be wrinkled? Does anyone know? Iron it. Now, how do you keep it not looking wrinkled? Starch. Now, I am lousy with an iron, and I am worse with starch. And my wife is even more disabled than I am in those varieties. So, what do? You take your shirt to the cleaner, and you get them to launder it and starch it. It doesn't cost that much, and you can look really crisp all day in a good starched shirt. What's better, an expensive suit that doesn't fit you or a cheap suit that fits you well? Yeah, a cheap suit that fits you well. So if you need to get some alterations made, you can go out and do that. Let's talk about grooming. Should you brush your teeth? These are basic things, but I run into students at the career fair sometimes and I'm mortified about what I see. Okay, so you should have your hair combed. You should be either clean shaven or your beard neatly trimmed. You're looking a little sketchy there. So you either need to grow that out or shave it off. So you should look neat, right? Your handshake. There are a couple of things about the handshake that are important. Can someone describe to me what a good handshake is like? Captain Barrentine.
It's strong but not obnoxiously, like you're not squeezing too hard, but you don't want to seem weak.
Yes, firm but not bone crushing. Just drives me nuts, especially these ex-football player nut jobs that are wearing their championship ring from 1977, and they want to crush your hand. That's bad. Now, what's the other bad kind of firmness on a handshake?
It's really weak.
Yeah, we call it the limp fish or the dead fish. Don't do that. Now, what about temperature?
Just try to dry your hand off if you're sweating.
That's going to be my next point. So if you've got that kind of a problem, just have a paper towel in your pocket. Kind of soak the sweat off of it before you offer your hand up to someone. Just make sure you don't pull the towel out when you pull your hand out. I have something called Raynaud's phenomenon, which means that my hands are basically almost always cold. When I was a little kid, my grandma would shake my hand and she would say, well, you're just as cold as death. Grandma died in 2008. Who's cold now, Grandma? Too soon? Okay, so, now here's the problem. A lot of people interpret that. They don't say, oh, what, this poor guy has a problem. They think, well, I'm nervous. Well, what do I do about that? Those little hunting hand warmer packets, have you seen those? I just keep one in my suit pocket and I keep my hand in there and warm it up, and then when kind of time comes to shake hands, I'm nice and toasty and everyone's happy. Let's see, we talked about sweatiness. Now what about eye contact?
Do it.
Yeah, okay, so your generation is especially terrible with eye contact. Any idea why? Yeah, your phones. You're always looking at your damn phones, right? I shudder to think about the future of the human race because you guys have lost the ability to flirt because you're always on your phone. I suppose you're trying to pick up ladies with text messages, but just the art of flirting has been lost. Maybe that's why population's in decline. I've got a discussion posted about that. Okay, so eye contact. So you want to look people in the eye, but there are also unnerving amounts of eye contact. So it was interesting when I was in business, it was always, you had to look the other guy in the eye, and it was kind of like almost a competition. And if you looked away, it was a sign of weakness. When I went to doctoral school, I'm sitting across from my advisor, and one day he said, "You make an unnerving amount of eye contact." And I said, "Yes." I said it was, the testosterone was like sloshing around the room, and you had to be like burning holes to be able to be seen as not weak. And so then I started working on not doing as much, right? But you've got to be able to make eye contact. If you won't look someone in the eye, what does that say to them? Untrustworthy. Untrustworthy. Your very best liars make great eye contact. Diversify. What do I mean by diversify? You might walk in there and say, "I want to work for a high-tech firm in Dallas, Texas, and that's all I'm going to talk to are high-tech firms from Dallas, Texas." What does that do to your portfolio of employment opportunities? Not very diverse. And what do we know about a good portfolio is diversified. By the way, why should you be trying to talk to people from different industries at this point? Do you think all industries react to the economy in the same way? No. So, like for instance, oil field people, if they were going to be there, if oil prices were headed for the toilet, they're probably not going to be hiring. However, construction companies are always hiring here for some reason. So, diversify. And if you don't know what a company is about, go up and ask. By the way, I want you to maximize your contacts. I want you to talk to just as many people as you can for a couple of reasons. Number one, it maximizes your opportunities. Number two, it gives you a chance to practice interacting with professionals. And number three, it gives you a chance to burn off some of that nervous energy. Do you guys know when you sit down for an exam, that moment before you flip it over and start working on it, what that feels like? And how long does that last? For the first few questions, and then you get into the groove, right? And so the first few people you talk to, you're going to have that nervous energy. So what I want you to do is go talk to people that you're really not interested in. Start with the Marine Corps, unless you're into that sort of thing, which is perfectly fine. But start with the Marine Corps, talk to that guy, and start working on your spiel. You guys know what a spiel is? Okay. Start with a lonely recruiter. So that's your Marine guy. And there will be a lot of, so I used to be embarrassed when we would show up for career fairs when I first started doing it. And we just basically had a little sign and we had like some pens to hand out. This is when I worked for Halliburton. And there's these people with these banners and all this other kind of crap and flashing lights and loud noises. And what do you think the recruits were attracted to? The flashing lights and the loud noises. I would encourage you to go ahead and talk to the people who have a crappy table because they might have great opportunities. They're just not very good at recruiting. So go talk to those people. Now you say, wait a minute, I don't know what the hell I'm going to talk to these people about. Ask them questions about their firm and their industry. What is it that your company does? Oh, wow, that's interesting. Where are your locations at? Oh, do you have any opportunities in Destin, Florida? Because that's where I grew up. Or it's things like that, right? So ask about their firm. Also ask about their industry. So what does the future look like for, let's pick something stupid here. Buggy whips. You guys know what a buggy whip is? Oh yeah, so too much time has passed here. So when my grandfather was a boy, they didn't have cars. They had horse and buggy, right? Kind of like the Amish. And how do you get the horse to, what's the accelerator pedal on a horse and buggy? Yeah, and you're not really hurting the horse. You're just like, letting it know we need to move forward. What do you think happened to the market for buggy whips after the invention of the automobile? Right? Okay, now, you're wanting to ask them about what does the future of your industry look like? Where do you see it going? What are the threats? What are the things that you see that might impact you guys? And what are the opportunities? What's coming out there that you think really might cause your thing to take off? People who are professionals and care about what they do enjoy talking about it. And so get them to talking about their company. They'll think that you're a great conversationalist, and you'll learn something along the way. Plus, you might have an interesting observation. Oh yeah, I was reading the other day in the Wall Street Journal about how whiskey bottles were now being made out of blah. By the way, we're probably going to have the Whiskey Barrel people there. Ozark Stave, I think is the name of the company. They're out of Lebanon. Interesting people. Okay, so ask the questions. A lot of times students will work the pattern, and every American, for whatever reason, when we walk into a building to do one of these things, what direction do we always turn?
Right.
Yeah, we always turn right. And so what that means is if you are there at the beginning of the day and there is this like pig going through a boa constrictor, this whole group of students heading through there all together because they all came in and turned right, what should you do? Come in and turn left. Run the circuit backward, and you'll be meeting a lot of people who are standing there twiddling their thumbs because they're waiting for this group of people. I wish they would do this with Halloween in my neighborhood, but instead we just get everybody together in a big group, and then so you're like handing out candy like crazy for 2.5 minutes, and then you're done, right? So go the other way. Go against the grain. Any questions?